Hey, what's going on, everybody? It's BL44 coming at you another video. So I've been on the video all day long, and now I just want to free talk. I don't really have a thought in mind, but one thing that I'm sitting here thinking about is just how, as we've talked about the media, you know, and and a lot of times when I speak of media, I'm speaking of sports media specifically in this case. Um, but, we say how they have their different ways of manipulating topics, manipulating scenarios, making it so that you'll see some type of, you know, angle on someone that might not necessarily be what they've shown you. But then my mind went to a certain thing about how talent and art forms are found in different ways. Guys like Stephen A. Smith, guys like Max Kellerman, so many different guys that are on TV. They're not empty entities. These are talented people. They have their own art forms. I think the narratives and all of that nonsense. This is not a I think. This is what it is. They're being controlled by people. They are not exactly as free as I would like to see those talented people be. And I hear about how they leave some of these big corporations, and they have so many different things to say about how things were in these different places. And I look at a guy like Stephen A. Smith and I say, Stephen A. Smith is one of the most talented people on TV in any genre. He's one of the most charismatic human beings on television, period. And a lot of what comes out of his mouth, I feel like it's just representations of his employers. I don't think I've heard Stephen A. Smith speak but twice as himself. You know what I mean? He's always representing the company, and I just feel like some of the views that he's taken, I'm not sure where he's coming from as it pertains to whether or not it's his point of view or the point of view he believes he should take as an employee. And when you're that talented, you see what I'm saying? Not just a regular guy. When you're that talented, I just want to know what else is there as it pertains to if those tentacles weren't attached, what would be the content we would get from this person? What would be Stephen A's network? What would be Max Kellerman's network? You know what I mean? I want to know what these dudes can do. And it's like, they're tied to contracts just like athletes. They gotta mum's the word on a lot of things. I'm just to move on. I'm kind of happy these emails are being released in the NFL. That whole situation that's going on there, I'm happy that's being done, not only because of the fact that it shows us, or rather, let me phrase it this way, not because it shows us that people can be, not what they seem to be. Nah, that's not the angle I'm coming from. I'm happy those emails are coming out because it does show us that people are not what they aren't intended to be. It shows us that who they are under the mask would actually give us a better understanding of what drives them. Sometimes the corporations and things and the image and things, it doesn't allow us to see the root from where the art comes from. Because all we're seeing is the blanket over it, hiding all of the things that ultimately make them them because they're not safe for the company. They're not safe. But when we start studying what greatness is, and we start studying what talent is, and you start trying to figure out why somebody's as good as they are, it's very difficult to come to that conclusion. Why? Because those different things that make them that are suppressed for us to see. Now, as an artist, as a pure artist who has many different forms of art, I can understand the importance of that. Like, I want to see the root. I want to know if Jon Gruden is a full-blooded racist, right? If he has the most worst views, I kind of want to live in a world where he can stand somewhere, be who he is, and not have to hide that. Even if it offends the hell out of me, I want to be someone who can absorb that offense and not let it crumble my spirit. That's me. I'm not talking about nobody else. I know it's very, very popular to get on cancel culture, to get on different people, but they have their own reasons for why they say what they say. I'm telling you why I want to feel how I feel. It's because as an artist and as a creative, I truly want to live in a world where I know what I'm looking at when I look at a person, especially a talented person, especially an artist. I want to know what it is I'm dealing with. R. Kelly one of the most talented musicians in the world. Underneath his mask, he was a damn sex sicko. That's what drove him to be one of the greatest artists ever. Now, that man needed help. All the stuff that he did is on his head. He did that. But if we would have known that man was sick when he was first making those songs, and he would have had the type of attention to help him get that help, instead of the corporations behind him that were masking him and hiding in all of his sickness, enabling him essentially to continue doing what he's doing so long as he was making money for them. If they would have treated him like the sick individual he was, none of the victims would have been victims. None of the stuff that we know us to be would be as it is. And maybe he would have found some type of redemption before coming into the crazy person he ended up becoming. But because he's behind all these masks, because they were enabling him to hide and continue being sicker and sicker and behaving more vicious and vicious, now he's become the monster in jail that he is right now. And the victims are everywhere. I think living in a world where we have to be PC enables people to stay in the dark, enables people to stay doing the stuff that they do that otherwise they need help to stop doing. And I think that sometimes the best examples are often in the artists, because some of the most enigmatic and strange and unique minds, and some of the most demented and crazy and most incredible minds of negative energy were often artists, often the most talented people. So if you can study them and figure out what makes them tick, you can probably figure out certain other aspects of that same trait in other people as well throughout the world. Because the art is ultimately what imitates life. And the artist is the one who beholds it all. And see, that's what I understand as well. You know, I understand that there's a fullness to it. Once you start digging into the mind of an artist, you're going to find a whole universe of things. And I'm speaking from my own head, but you're going to find a universe of things. And a lot of times it's hard for that artist to pinpoint what it is that they're dealing with as it pertains to what they're feeling, what it is that they're singling, what they're focused on at that moment, how their focus seems to, skip from different places, how things come from nowhere. You know what I mean? How they can come up with brilliant pieces in a matter of moments. Things that it would seem like it would take a year to come up with and figure out, they can come up with in 20 minutes. Like those type of things, they're bigger than them. If you can fathom such a thing, that greatness is beyond their comprehension in most cases. I remember my mother told me an analogy that makes sense. She was like, a guy like Michael Jordan could never tell you how he does what he does. He would never be able to explain it to you. He would get frustrated with you when you don't understand what it is he's telling you to do. But once he starts telling you how it is that he is great, he'll start saying things like, you just feel it. You just know it. And once you feel it, then you turn around and you let it go. It's like, nah, bro. What you have is something that is greater than you, and you can't even explain it because it's above you. It's something that's in you that was given to you from something that's greater than you. And a lot of people don't believe in that, but yet the example is there in the artist. God is right there in the artist. When you see Kyrie dribble, don't you see God in that? When you hear a Dr. Dre beat, don't you hear God in that? Like that greatness, the perfect science, the perfect math of actual art. You're going to find remnants of spirituality in those things. It just is what it is. As an artist, I can honestly tell you that. When we're really, really into our zone, if we're really good at what we do, it's like an outer body experience. And the last thing a person like that can do is explain it to you. So, as I've gone off into this tangent, I can tell you, as an artistic mind, we also struggle quite a bit. And as I said, to tie it all in, a lot of times, artists are the sickest ones. They'd be the most demented and crazy and manic ones. You know what I mean? And the more talented they are, the more crazy they are. It's proof is in the pudding. We've seen so many different variations of this. But all in all, just to tie it back in, I look at a guy like Stephen A. as an artist, not necessarily as a sicko or whatever, but as an artist. Like, I don't look at him as just a talking head. No, the way he uses words, the way that he gets up there with his charisma, the way that he approaches situations, how he goes about it, that's a creative. And I don't know how creative he's able to be within the confines of what it is that he's involved in professionally. You just don't know, you know. And different things like people perceive certain fights. I don't know, man. That whole Stephen A versus Max thing, I didn't really talk about that. It's not really something that was really interesting as far as what I wanted to bring to the channel. I just didn't have enough information. I like both characters. I didn't really, you know what I mean? I like both those guys. So I think Max was good. I thought it was logic in a lot of what they said in regards to like they felt maybe, you know, it was time to go in a different direction and all that good stuff. It's fine. I'll make another video on that. But at the end of the day, I just really wonder if that's a narrative too. Maybe that's not even real. Maybe it was some other stuff going on. They're the fall guy for that. You know, I remember rumors going around that Shaq and Kobe's beef was not even really a beef. They were pinned against each other because really ownership didn't want to pay Shaq's salary. And they had to make a decision between him and Kobe, so they'd rather those two make a decision for them. They pinned them against each other. There was rumors that was actually what was going on. You know what I mean? And that brings me to this. So I don't, like I said in the Kyrie video that I just made, I don't know why people do what they do. I really don't know why things happen a certain way. For all I know, it's a conspiracy everywhere. You know, I don't rule out much of anything. But what I can say is, when you're creative, the best thing for a creative is full creative space, full range of freedom to just do what it is that you do. And I want to see more artists, unconventional artists, people that you don't necessarily see as artists, get that freedom. You know, I look at all the time. There's so many different types of art, man. You know, and anything can be made into art also. So it's not limited to anything. A mathematician can be an artist. You know, but it is what it is. I have a passion for art. I'm growing in art. And that's another thing. I know there are probably some young people who watch me. I'm discovering things about myself artistically at 37 years of age. I've gotten better at what it is that I do artistically this year. So don't think that it ends just because you get to a certain age or the passion goes away. It doesn't have to. You know, whatever it is that your art form is, it can evolve with you. It really can. But when you mix money with it, just to tie everything back, when you mix money with it, it tends to take what makes it fun. You know, it can if you let it. That's why I speak on Ben Simmons the way that I do, Kyrie Irving, all these guys who have money on the line, and they just want to hoop. You know, I get it. They just want to hoop. But at the end of the day, the business makes it complicated, and it makes it stressful, and it makes it very, very anxious for them. So I get that. Anyway, man, I'm just babbling. There's no real singular point here. I want to see artists get their freedom in whatever way they can. And the only way to really do that is to have your own platform, obviously. So hopefully we can all make that happen for ourselves. I've wanted Stephen A. personally to have his own platform for a long time. I really have. And I know he's doing it his way and he's happy where he's at, but I have always thought he would be happier with his own thing. I really do. Especially when I look up at some of these other guys and they're sitting up and they're doing their YouTube thing and they're getting their views up. I'm like, man, if Stephen A. had his own YouTube, it'd triple those views, quadruple those views. You know what I mean? But see, here we go again. Now his stock is kind of falling because of the Max pinned, the whole beef with Max or whatever that's perceived to be. Now he's low. He's trying to pick it back up. It's like, man, I don't know. That shouldn't even be like that. That shouldn't even be like that. I know Stephen A. got a lot of power at ESPN. Maybe it is his decision to move Max on. You know what I'm saying? Maybe it was his decision. I'll leave it at that. Yeah. But all in all, I'm happy that Max is where he's at. I will say that. I enjoy Max, but I've been following Max since the Laker days, so that's different. I'm from LA. I already know. But, it is what it is, man. That's all I got to say about that. I've enjoyed speaking to you guys all day long. As you know, I've been going through a real tough patch, so y'all have made it a hell of a lot easier for me just being here on the other end of this camera, putting up with whatever I've been saying all day. So, yeah, thank y'all. My name is BDO44. Peace.